who's a lawyer from the Immigrant Assistance Program from the Council Diocese, who's going to give you more information about this issue. Maura?
As he said, my name is Maura Hagen, and I'm just a local immigration attorney. Immigration is all I do, so I've been paying a lot of attention to this new program, Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, as it's been called by the government. Deferred action itself isn't a new legal term. It's not a new procedure for the government. It's something that the president, through his executive branch and through the Department of Homeland Security, is authorized to grant certain individuals. So one example of another group that's given deferred action are people granted Violence Against Women Act protection. We give those individuals deferred action. And no, deferred action isn't a legal status, but it does give you some protections against deportation, and it does keep you in a certain legal place that is not unlawful presence. So it's sort of a little tricky to understand, but that's an important distinction to make. And so why are we here today? We're here because Michigan is one of 2 states in the country who've decided to not issue driver's licenses to folks under this deferred action status. They are going to continue to issue driver's licenses to most deferred action people, including Violence Against Women Act. But because this deferred action for childhood arrivals is new and unique and is seen as political, they've decided to not issue them. And they can do that because the deferred action is a separate code on their card, on their employment authorization card that these kids will get when they're given this protection. So the Secretary of State has already trained folks on this. They've already trained all of their front-end workers. The computer system that they use to verify your alien status is already able to identify the difference between this type of deferred action and all the other types of deferred action. So we're here because it's already in place, and they did it really fast, and I think, and a lot of other attorneys think, that they did it not in accordance with Michigan law. Michigan law requires that people have legal presence in the United States in order to receive a driver's license. And the only people that can determine what legal presence is the federal government. And the federal government, through Homeland Security, has said that folks under this deferred action category are not unlawfully present, which I would conclude means they're lawfully present in the eyes of the government. Now again, they don't have legal status. Legal status can only be conferred by Congress. And that would be a green card or a period of a visa stay, for example, foreign students, things like that. That can only be conferred by Congress. But deferred action and this lawful presence can be conferred by the executive branch, by the president, and that is what he has done. And unfortunately, Arizona and Michigan are kind of looking past that designation of legal presence and conflating it with lawful status, which is not required for a driver's license. So they're conflating it and deciding not to issue driver's licenses. Again, it's one of the 2 states in the nation that is deciding to not give this benefit to these kids who've been here since before the age of 16, most of the time before the age of 2, and were brought here with, at no will of their own, and they've grown up here, this is their country, and we're going to maintain that they're second-class citizens. It's kind of a disgrace in this state of Michigan, which is a car country, and which was built around cars, not around public transportation, and now we're not letting them drive. So I hope that's a clear enough definition of why we're here today. I know it's sort of confusing. Obviously, the Secretary of State is happy to be confused by the difference between lawful presence and legal status, but I urge you to not be confused. Are there any questions about what that means? Yes?
Is that the same grounds they did it in Arizona?
I'm not 100% sure about Arizona.
And is California, weren't they considering doing the same thing? Do you know anything about that?
California is, it seems like California is actually going the opposite way and trying to help these kids go out of their way to help them.
Okay.
And as far as I know, it's just Arizona and Michigan. Governor Perry of Texas did say that he wasn't going to grant driver's licenses, but similar to Michigan, it's not really the governor's decision. And their Secretary of State said, oh yeah, we will be granting driver's licenses.
Okay.
So it's up to our Secretary of State independently